6 p.m. on October 7th, 2024. I'm Naomi Miller, Chair of the Shaftsbury Select Board, and I'm calling this meeting to order, regular meeting of the Select Board. Does anyone have a conflict of interest with anything on the agenda?
No.
Good. Nor I. First item is minutes. The minutes from the Select Board and Water Board from September 23rd. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Approved by Mike, seconded by Brad. Okay, any comments, corrections, alterations? No? Okay. All in favor of accepting the minutes as they are, say aye.
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 Abstain.
Abstain?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. 410? 401.
One, yeah.
Good. Okay, thank you. And now warrants.
And several.
There's a few sitting down there, right?
First one is the invoices. Second clump are payroll 7 and 8. You already signed 7. They're now off week, so there are 2. And then there is a Beamer's final squareway, and then the taxes, payroll taxes. If you need explanation, just let me know.
Everybody got all that?
Yes. I'm here for any questions.
Okay, so first there is check warrant report number 25009. With a total of $157,417.43. Can I have a motion to approve?
Second.
Second by Mike, thank you. Okay. Items over 1,000. Aflac, 1,725.16.
Employees supplemental health insurance.
The BCRC for 3,908.
That's the fiscal year 24 QT, quarter 2, fee, solid waste implementation plant fees.
So that's related to the transfer station, yeah. Okay. And 7,086.88 to
Bennington
County Sheriff's Department.
The 7,000 is for the July patrols, and the following one for 55 are for the September
47.
patrols. I think we were getting caught up in the head, because we already paid August.
Okay.
That's why August is missing.
Okay. And then Bove Fuels for 1,689.78.
Is that GA Bove?
GA Bove.
That's on the Gs.
Oh, we've got 2 of them. Another one for 1689.
Yep, all oil, gas, oil, and diesel.
Okay, and then a third one for 2007.
Yep, gas, oil, diesel. Any combination of those.
And $3,000 to CAI Technologies.
The yearly fee for web GIS support.
Yearly.
Yearly.
Good.
Yeah.
Caterpillar Financial, $11,932.
That's for the cat excavator. Where's Mike? Mike over there?
Is that, yeah, cat excavator lease payment, annual.
Annual.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Okay. Picking something at random here. Endine Inc. for $25.
Water testing.
Water testing. Okay, there are 2 of those.
Yeah, they're for the downtown area, the house water testing.
Great.
Yeah.
$5,442 to Innovative Surface Solutions.
Innovative surface, I'm skipping the page. Calcium chloride for the roads.
MSK Engineering for $2,072.
That is for the landfill vent project, kind of. We've owed them that for a while, and it's almost done. The fan is in. We just need the enclosure, so we have one more step.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Mike.
Yeah, we're just waiting on the box that goes over the new fan isn't installed. It's got a temporary enclosure over it for now,
Great.
but it is working properly now.
Isn't that exciting?
That's exciting.
I got something done.
That's a big job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An anxiety-producing job. Okay, Nimerick for $7,750 and for $5,642.
5,000 is an annual support fee, and the 7,000 is the October assessment services fee.
Okay. Right below that, New England newspapers for $78.
That was placing an ad for zoning, the zoning administrator, a couple of ads. Notices, I guess, not ads.
Notices? Okay.
Notices, yeah.
Northeast Municipal LLC, 1,004.
That's a pavement patch and calcium chloride, chloride tank parts and signs.
Okay, Pickham Industries, 3,105.
Shoulder stone,
Shoulder Stone,
Gravel.
gravel. Shaftsbury Fire Company, 1,018.
that's a reimbursement to the Shaftsbury Fire Company. They did a school fire prevention day, and they got, water bottles and backpacks for the kids, and so reimbursing them.
Great,
Yeah.
nice. Walt Steck for $3,500.
Let me see. Shoulder gravel
Gravel?
for White Creek project.
Okay. Sycamore Landscaping, two of them, one for $2,625 and the other for $2,480.
The 2,600 is cemetery mowing and maintenance, and the 2,480 is, he was our part-time summer mowing help.
Okay, great. And then Tamarack Tree Care for $1,600.
Took two trees down in Grandview Cemetery.
U.S. Bank for $63,482.
That is the garage bond payment for the year.
That is the garage bond payment for the year. That's-
Cha-ching.
Okay, United Construction and Forestry, $2,555.
That is coded as the JD grader, so the John Deere alternator, manifold, something. I just took those words off the invoice.
All parts for the grader.
All parts for the grader. Okay, thanks. All right, any questions on any of this? No? All in favor of approving it, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 500. And payroll, check warrant PR07 for, this is the one I already signed. So actually, in theory, we approved it, but it is for a total of can you just ask Paula which is the total?
Is that the total or is this the other one? It should be.
Might be on the other
I
page.
think it's on the other page, Noreen. Nope, it isn't.
Employee gross. I think it's this.
Okay.
Yeah, the number to the,
Okay, for a total of $26,859.19.
so we already, I think, because that was the last time's. And she signed it.
Did we
Yeah.
actually vote on it for me to sign it? We didn't have it.
It was on the off week
Right.
when we had 5.
So we didn't.
So we
Yeah,
didn't
so you
vote on
came in
it.
and-
So I think we need to approve
Okay,
it.
we do.
So Mike moved to approve. Who seconds?
Second.
Tony, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, and now, okay. And here we have another payroll, the recent one, check warrant report PRO8 for, a total of $27,725.64. Can I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Second by Mike. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. This is,
Does it say Beamers on it?
yes.
That's the catch-up for
Okay, so
our assessor.
that is the catch-up. Would you like to explain that?
Well, there was
It's a little review for us
a
all.
miscalculation for the Beamers, which is the Vermont retirement, and there were 2 employees that were not automatically put into it when their hours went up several months ago. So our new bookkeeper caught it and said, hey, they're supposed to be enrolled in Beamers.
And so we
And so
enrolled
we
them,
enrolled them.
and we are
Now
now
we caught
paying
up.
our back.
Yes.
Okay, so this is the last of those payments.
Yeah, it's been a bit of, what happens on their end is the Beamers person's doing all the year-end things in July, and it's back and forth, and wait a minute, you overpaid this time, and then, and just really getting it sorted out, because it was a lot to figure out down to the penny,
Yeah.
who owed what.
Okay.
We owed, to be clear.
We owed, yeah.
Yeah.
We owed our share.
Yeah.
Okay, so the total for this is $3,216.54. Can I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
So Tony, seconded by Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, 500. Okay. This is
Let's say taxes,
U.S. Treasury
payroll taxes.
payroll taxes. Okay, thank you. It's check warrant report PRW03. And it's for a total of $19,187.47. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Tony, and seconded by Mike. Thank you. So the town's, the employer portion of this is $3,009.23, and the rest is the withholdings we have made, correct? From employees. Any questions about this? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye? Okay. 500. That's them. Announcements. No announcements? Okay. Public comments. No public comments. Okay.
You're doing a great job.
We're doing a great job. Thank you, Mary. Okay, treasurer's report. Thank you.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
This is just a classic cold like we used to get in the old days.
If only we had all worn masks in the old days, we would.
And so I will take this off so people can understand me without objection, but I'll keep it quick. Okay. First of all, an announcement, actually from me. Your last day to file a homestead declaration, if you have not already done so, is coming right up, October 15th. After that date, you cannot make any changes to your tax bill. So please do yourself a favor, open it up, and make sure you have the homestead rate if you're expecting it. That could be a potentially very expensive mistake if you did not file your homestead declaration. You have one more week. Okay. Jen, can we look at the cash flow for September, please? I'll just tie a bow on this. You can see tax receipts, that second line, that shows that I've been a busy bee.
Yep.
So we're off to a good start. Those are the people who like to pay early, and it'll be sort of a bell curve. Well, actually not even a bell curve. It's sort of a reverse bell curve. A lot at the beginning and a lot at the end. Right now we're not getting so many. Let's see what else is there. Delinquent taxes. I think most of the stuff we talked about already in meetings. If you want to just go down to the very bottom, I can show how we're doing versus budget. It's still very early in the year, but you can see it's very, very similar to last year. The revenues are a little different just because tax bills went out later than last year. That's why we had a little bit more this time last year. And that's also because we got all of the 4 quarters of highway funds all in one go. So they sort of balance each other out. But you can see that the expenditures are very, very similar as a percentage of the budget. You want to take a quick look at the cash flow for October, even though it's very, very early. You can see it got another 100,000 in the first week. The big number that should be jumping out at you there is the interfund transfer number, 371,000. That is money that was owed to the general fund from the reserve accounts. That there were some very, very large checks you signed in September that actually were reserve account checks. So there was like 100,000 for ARPA. There was the White Creek paving was in there too, that's going to be refunded. We can talk more about that when we look at the reserve accounts, but I just wanted you to see that's why we got quite a bit of cash in the general fund right now. Let's see. Oh yeah, that shows the tax receipts. I keep a running total this time of year, so you can see we're creeping up on $1 million there. Mm-hmm. Okay, want to take a quick look at reserves. And that's where you'll see the other side of that. If you look at the debits column there, that's the other side of that money due to the general fund I was just talking about. So the big ones are down towards the bottom. As I said, that's the ARPA money bringing us down to 18,000, which is exactly what we want to have happen to that. So we've been properly spending that money. Mm-hmm. And just above it is the White Creek paving. We're obviously in a pretty negative cash balance for that, but that is going to be covered by some grants. And let's see, listers reappraisal. That's just money that Jean is using, ramping up for the reappraisal, getting ready for that. Any questions about any of that? Okay. Okay, the most important thing I said today was what I said first. You've got one more week. Please open your tax bills, take a look at it. Don't wait for November. It's a couple of people do that every year, and it just breaks my heart. Yeah. I will put the sign out at the Four Corners too, as another reminder, which I did last year. I caught a couple of fish with that one.
Thank you.
Okay, nothing else?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Feel better soon.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Feel better.
Bye.
All right, DPW report. Mike, thank you for coming in.
Yeah.
Problem. just a couple things, and going back to the White Creek is completed, obviously, because we paid the contractors, but I did submit the request for reimbursement today, so all that paperwork should be in.
Great.
And I got an email back from the state saying that it was accepted and in review, so hopefully we'll see, should see 194,000 and change. So yeah, so we're all set with that road. A couple other little things, we got a bunch of road signs to fix. There's a ton of them around town that have just, seems like people are just going around stealing signs lately. I don't know, stop signs, yield signs.
Wow.
But it's, the posts are still there, so you know there's, somebody's just stealing the sign, so we got a bunch of that to do. We've got some road grading to finish, and next week we're gonna start setting the trucks up for the winter maintenance. Start getting them ready for plow season, making sure that everything's ready to go. That's about it.
Have any idea where you're going to be grading?
Yes, Shaftsbury Hollow is where we'll be this week. If the weather lets us.
If the weather lets you.
And we have a culvert to replace on Airport Road just before Cider Mill, but it'll just be one lane traffic. We don't have to close the road. It's plenty
Wide
wide
there.
enough. That might happen this week or might happen next week.
Wow.
That's all I really have. I got some stuff that needs to be talked about, the transfer station, but I think that's going to be talked about in a little bit, so,
Yeah, I can handle that part.
okay.
Yeah, I got it covered.
All right, so
I mean, if you want to be here for the conversation, we can,
I'll stay.
Okay.
we can adjust the order of the
Yeah.
agenda, so we can do it now, if you want.
Yeah, whatever's easier for you.
Is that okay with everybody?
That's fine, let's do that, yeah.
Okay, so then we're going to move number 11.
Nope, number 10, transfer station,
We're going to move,
because you were going to do a CCDC report
yeah,
next.
we're going to move 11 up to now.
Interesting, oh, okay, it's
Oh.
a different agenda, sorry, okay. My agenda must be different. This is in the
Interesting.
packet versus that.
Yes,
Okay.
this is an amended agenda.
This is an amended agenda, okay. Sorry.
I have the amended agenda, because I got it from Jen. Okay.
Sorry.
All right, so transfer station report and request for new compactor.
Yes. Okay, so the transfer station is, going through some growing pains, right? And we had several things that we need to fix. Specifically, the first one was people yelling at people who work there because of the stickers, and you have to buy a sticker and pay for the bags, and yes, it's expensive. Trash removal is expensive. I did make this, but right before the select board meeting, and it's a good thing that I don't have it up there because I have a typo. I didn't put the N in month. So just to get some numbers out there in the ether, okay? The revenue for the transfer station, and these are FY24 numbers, so we already know them, but that year is over. Total revenue that we bring in is a whopping $84,107, okay?
Per month or per year?
This is for the year.
For the year,
This is
okay. A whole
revenue that we
calendar
get,
year.
like we get revenue, like brush
Fiscal
is
24.
$1,060. Appliances, $1,118. Tires, $662. Access permits, FY24, $7,980. Per bag, on the per bag stuff, we made about $73,287. That is the 84,107.
Yep.
Expenditures are $343. So we're in the red of $67,236. That's not including what we pay for the compactors every month, which is $200 and change. That's not including paying Shelley and Greg. And now the constable, who has to be there, so people don't scream it. I'm making light of it now, but they
It's
been a real
It's
problem.
really been a
in
problem.
time,
Instability
but
is-
Fran Buck assures me, gosh, it's so much better over there now. I'm like, yes.
Good.
It's so much better. And we typically purchase from the printer 500 stickers a year. They only have 30 left. So Fran's been, we're selling those stickers. So that's the good news. But I don't know if you've seen the Bennington Banner last week, the Pownell.
Yeah.
Pownell is considering closing their transfer station. And I know that Shaftsbury has considered it in the past too. We're not making money off your bags of garbage. I know it's expensive. Things are really tight for everyone right now. We're running at a loss every single year. And it's an expense of the town. It is not really a revenue center. So,
We'll lose it.
yeah.
Well, another way to think of that is people's tax money is
People's tax
supplementing
money.
this.
That's why it's important. We have that shortfall, and we can only kind of bridge the gap so much, and every little bit helps. That's why we're not like nickel and diming you for half bags of garbage. All of it helps the town, because it's a burden on the taxpayers when people don't pay. So, there's that. There's the money thing. At the same time, things are breaking down. So this is from an email, Joseph McGuire from Casella. He says, the compactor in Shaftsbury, he says it better than I could, so I'm reading it. The compactor in Shaftsbury, this is the big one that Greg's always, pushing the stuff down and breaks down like all the time. Compactor in Shaftsbury is at the point where it needs to be replaced. The cylinders are weak. The machine has had several issues. The new compactor would have a bigger hopper, so you wouldn't have to compact the trash as frequently. They also wouldn't need a ramp anymore. This is a safety thing. That the older people are going up the ramp. You've been there. You know what it looks like. A new compactor is $39,000. The rental on a new compactor is around $900 a month.
Wow.
Casella is willing to help with some of this cost to get a newer machine in. We can do it for $575 a month. Okay? The town is currently paying $275 a month, so it would go up $300 a month with a new machine. We would also have to change the length of the current contract from 3 to 5 years. Please let me know if that is something you want to move forward on. This is...
And that's what they look like.
That's what the new one would look like. No ramp needed means it's safer. Greg won't have to fuss with it as much and pushing it down because it's literally breaking every day it's open. And they're calling them constantly. And it's empty less often, and we pay per pickup. They'll be picking it up less often because more fits in there. So I would like permission to go up $300 a month, even though we're in the red anyway, for the sake of,
How much do they charge when they pick it up? I'm just curious.
I don't know specifically. I know I have a sheet on my desk, but
Is that number,
I have it in
so
my head, but I don't trust my head for remembering the right number.
you had given a number for how much the compactor was total, which was
39,000.
39,000, and so that 550 number, is that over the 3 or 5 year?
5
period?
years.
So we would be paying this off for 5 years with this,
Yeah.
what we're seeing online, okay.
It's not a purchase, though.
This is a rental.
This is a rental, so
So
we
they're
wouldn't
giving-
even own
yeah.
it at the end of this 5-year
Right,
period.
right, because we don't own the
would
one we
to
have, and they're...
Re-up it or get
yeah.
the next version of,
And I spoke to Joseph on the phone, and he's like, I don't know why, but he's giving Shaftsbury a deal, probably because we run in the red.
Yeah, for the compactor.
Yeah.
okay,
So
wow.
we can't keep going with the one we have.
No.
Nope.
Do we get a motion to do this?
Every time they haul it away
Oh, thanks, Mike.
is $185 plus the $144 a ton of what's inside it. So every time they hook onto that, and what we're going through right now is Greggy's calling daily because the ram isn't pushing the bags in there. So we're paying extra to and we have been for a while, to dump it because the compactor's not compacting the garbage inside the
Yeah.
The tunnel.
container.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Can I have a motion to accept this before we move forward in the discussion?
I'll second.
Mike and Tony seconds, thanks. So, we're losing a lot of money
Yeah.
by not doing this.
Yeah, and Casella's been down there numerous times this summer trying to make it functionable, but it's come to the point where the rams inside there that push the trash into the big part of the box are just, it's not worth fixing anymore. It was an old TAM container that it was used when we opened that transfer station, so we're lucky. I thought that was me. We're lucky that we've made it this long. And that's what Joe has worked up for an agreement to
Help us
so
financially.
it's adding another $200 and something a month for the rental
Right.
for the container to be on at the transfer station.
Which would add another,
$300 a month.
so it would be $500 a month just for the compactor times
It is-
12. So I'm just thinking about the deficit number.
But it's a
what that-
bigger-
But it definitely, is needed. I'm just thinking about numbers, seeing that you were throwing out numbers.
It's definitely going to cost more, but we're probably going to save a little bit because it's not going to have to be
Pickups.
hauled empty,
All day,
Yeah.
often.
3 times a week for no
Right.
reason when it should be once a week or once every 2
Right.
weeks, depending on, some weeks aren't very busy, some holiday weeks are really busy, so
Right.
it all depends on the time of the year too.
I think this is a really sticky issue, just because
is.
it's hard for all of us to take in how difficult the process of getting rid of what we consider garbage is now. And
How
that we
expensive
really
it
are
is.
creating too much garbage. And there's no place to put it, and so it gets more and more expensive to process it and to get rid of it. Art, would you like to comment on this?
In the banner, it said Powell was going to look into asking the state if they had to have a transfer station. I almost thought that each town had to have a transfer station, or at least a program whereby garbage could, we just can't stop, I don't think, but somebody really should check with the state and say,
I'll check.
we may be mandated to have it.
Yeah.
Right.
I asked Dave once if we had to have one, and he said we did.
He said we did?
He said he had looked into it, and you did.
That's
think I
probably why they
remember.
didn't close it. That's probably why.
Nice.
But I
Well,
don't know if it's
and maybe
changed or if
things
it's
have changed,
new.
It's
It's probably
been,
2 or 3 year old information.
yeah.
Right. But it's just, I think every increase in this is going to be upsetting to people, and so we have to engage the dialogue about why it's so expensive.
It's expensive.
It's expensive.
It's expensive because it's expensive,
Yeah, because it has to go somewhere.
to go
It's not
somewhere.
getting buried at the,
Right.
at the
That's right.
spot anymore. It is
Right.
being shipped somewhere else and then being buried somewhere else in somebody else's backyard. And we are paying for that privilege to not have it in our own
In
backyard.
our own backyard, that's right.
And so this is very much a,
Mike, do we want to talk about the window and all that? And
I do because of, we're coming into
procedure,
it's getting cooler out. So what I wanted to talk about was we have the new building. We have a cash register now, so everybody that pays has to go inside the building. That's really not ideal. Because now we have a door opening and closing with a little heater in there, the heater for that building. And one of the employees he's really worried about everybody coming in and out of his workplace at, all winter long, door open, door being left open. But I don't see the need that people have to come in there and pay. And after this was brought to my attention, I think you guys already talked about paying through a window on the side of the building
kind of like
first.
Norwegian does.
Yeah.
And I think we should move forward to doing that. I just don't know.
We already spoke to Greg and Shelley about
Yeah,
it.
they're
and
fine
They were like,
with it. I just want it to be approved that that's the way it's going to be done. Because
So-
it is gonna be changed for people, they're gonna have to stop and pay before they throw their trash away, because you know what you're bringing to the dump. You're bringing 2 bags, whatever size, I don't know the numbers, but, you know, and then Greggy will have to be there monitoring it or something.
And Shelley
Shelley
will
would
give
give them a
people a
receipt.
slip that says
Yeah.
Give 'em a receipt.
how many bags of what size they paid for, and then they'll give that slip to Greg.
Something like that, and they were totally fine with it because they don't want people in and out of there. You know, it's one thing if you go in there to I don't know, have a conversation or something, but to go in and pay,
When there's,
tracking
you know,
all the snow
7 people there
and
at
sand and everything in and out,
Right.
it's just, but it would change the entrance a little bit, and it was also brought to my attention is now everybody pulls in, parks wherever they want. People, you know, they'll pull in, one guy will be here, one person will be there, and then all of a sudden someone will come and drive around, and this one's walking. And it was actually Franny, the constable said it's just the traffic needs to be, you know, kind of slowed down. And so if they were to pay as they drove up, and then park and, you know, get rid of their recyclables or their metal or their brush or their garbage, you know, whatever. But, and we would just change the entrance a little bit just to neck it down some. So when a car came in, they'd have to stop at the building, do their thing, and then they can go park. That's what we were planning, and the reason I want to get going on it is because it is getting cooler out. We would have to probably buy a window, a more Teller-style sliding window for the side,
Right.
Yeah.
you know, which isn't a problem. I found them. It's just, I didn't want to go doing it if this wasn't, you know, I didn't want to go purchase that if, no, we're not going to do this. So that's what I wanted to discuss.
How do people feel about that?
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, we're going back to an honor system for people. They gotta,
Yeah, I mean, too many people just go in and not pay. I mean, and it's gotten better with the cash register but, you know, and the constable being there, but a lot of people would just pull right in, throw their trash.
Yeah.
You know, Greggy would be dealing with somebody and then on they go. And it's been happening for a while.
yeah.
So, I mean, you go to Bennington to go to their dump and
It's weighed, yeah.
you weigh it and you pay the person at the scale house. I'm not exactly sure how they do it, but I know it's similar to that.
And you get weight on the way in and on the way out, whatever the difference is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. High tech.
So I think we kind of got to
Okay.
simulate something like that. I
Make
know
it
it's,
more organized and
I know
safer.
it's,
Yeah. So do we want to
So
vote
we
on
have
this?
2 different motions,
Yeah.
and we've
Two
had 2
different-
different
That's right.
discussions going
That's
without
right.
finishing
That's
the
right.
first motion.
I know. Well, I didn't want to
Yeah.
interrupt Mike because this is
Yeah.
what he wanted to.
Yeah.
Shall we
finish the
close
first
out
one.
the first one first? Yeah. Any further discussion on
Purchasing the new.
purchasing the new
Or
compactor?
renting,
Renting
yes.
it.
Oh, renting the new
Renting the
compactor,
new-
right, as
the new
opposed to the
safer.
$39,000 purchase.
Yeah.
Any further discussion on that? Okay, all in favor of that change to our rental relationship with Casella?
Aye.
Aye. Great, that passed 500, and now we need a motion to,
I make a motion to add a window, a sliding window to the structure for Shelley and Greg for purchasing your trash tickets and the change to the entrance of the transfer station so that we can arrive in orderly fashion one at a time for our garbage disposal.
do we have a second for that motion? Thank you, Mike. Any further discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. 500. Thank you for thinking all that through.
Yeah, I'm sure there's not going to be a lot of happy people,
No, I
but
was gonna say,
There's going to be a line, and we're going to have to, and hopefully Fran can be there as that change
said he
happens
would.
too, so that we can kind of align everybody and how it's going to.
But there will also be people who are glad.
Yeah, I'm,
Because, I mean,
What if we printed out like a simple pamphlet that just said, transfer station by the numbers, and
Yeah.
our revenue is 84,000, expenses, just so each angry person can just at least receive this and say, well, here's, at least we're singing from the same sheet of music here when we have this complaint.
Sounds like a good idea.
action items.
we'll go out with each ticket for the first few weeks.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Or just to anyone who has an issue or is raising their voice, or whatever, can say, well, at least read this first and then you can.
Because a lot of people
Well, if it
don't
went to
understand
everybody.
that part
Right, yeah.
either. They really don't.
Right, it should be
It's,
Yeah.
people generally think it's a revenue-making thing, which is like totally wrong.
Paul, can you put together the numbers again
yeah.
so that, the monthly bill we pay Casella to take the trash away, but then what it costs us and everything else?
The ones that I went over before, like the
Well,
revenue.
I think what's missing was the.
Oh, how much we pay them?
Yeah, how much we pay
I looked
Casella.
through the warrants, and it can range from 8,000 to 10,000 a month, depending
Yeah.
on how much they're
Yeah.
picking up. So that's
Yeah.
every
What
month.
do
I
we pay
mean,
for recycling? Are they able
I
to get
think
recycling out?
it's,
Because I know
think it's
that
all-
Trevor had a real hard time selling, getting rid of some of the recycling.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's all in one lump sum.
Okay.
We did learn something interesting, though. We had a meeting with Casella, and they said that all the recycling at other transfer stations is mixed, but it's not in ours.
Yeah.
They just mix it all together.
Yeah.
And I wonder
The single sort.
if that would make a difference if we had a mixed bin rather than take your plastic here, take your cardboard here. I don't know. We got to figure out the logistics
A
of.
single sort, yeah, because they have new machines, I think, now that sort it.
Because he was talking about other towns, like they just mix their recycles.
He was talking about this like it was a good thing.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, should we ask Paula to look into that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, I will.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay,
Okay.
Sound
That's
good?
all I had.
okay, thank
All
you
right.
so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Have a good night.
You too.
All right. We are now up to the CCDC report, which the Community Center Development Committee report, and Paula is the co-chair of that. I am the sort of consultant to the non-voting member from this body. And actually, we have Marie Watson here with us tonight, and she is the community member of that committee. So I'll talk about it, but the two of you can chime in. How's that? Okay. Just thought it was a good time to give people a kind of just a report back of where we are. We've been meeting every Thursday evening at 5 p.m. here and on Zoom over the course of, I guess it's about 7 weeks now. We've brainstormed about the scope of the community center project, as well as adding, we've been brainstorming about the potential need to add some offices to that building because of the difficulties emerging with the offices in the basement of Call Hall. And that is a little bit of a moving target, but we are moving forward, I guess it's fair to say, as though we're going to have to move some offices, but not all. Is that?
At
Yeah.
least.
It seems unlikely from the various experts we've talked to that we're going to be able to move people on a regular daily working basis back into the basement, but I think that's going to be something that we're going to talk about here too later in the... We are looking at various kinds of building product and interviewing people from various firms in the area that provide those kinds of building services. We are hoping to design a building that's energy efficient, that has very flexible usage potential, that has visual coherence with the surrounding area, and possibly that has a walkway connection to Cole Hall, so that we can have a flexible movement of offices and space usage. The first thing that we really need to know that we don't yet know anything about is the community septic issue, where it would be going, what the committee is going to be recommending. That committee is going to be recommending that we engage in and get grants for, and et cetera. That's a big open question. Until we have the answer to that, we can't come up with a siting proposal. But we hope we're going to get that answer really soon. We're meeting this week. We're meeting with Rick Bennett, the chair of the Economic Development Committee, and we're going to be talking about grant writing and fundraising from their end and what they think they can commit to. And we expect to have provisional drawings and a proposed budget by the end of the year. And that's about where we are. We're hoping to be able to provide those things in time for the public to really think about the project that we are then asking people to vote for a reserve fund to construct. Anything to add? Any questions?
We've got a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we're meeting weekly.
Yeah, that's right. Right. Yeah. And I think we all feel like we've got a lot of good voices and we're moving fast. It just seems slow from the outside because there's so many considerations we have to keep juggling.
But also that we're very much on track because a lot of the big grants that will help to fund this don't open up until early next year and the spring of next year, so that you guys are moving along in the right time frames so that things can
we're moving
continue.
cognizant of the granting
continue to work.
schedule.
There's also a lot of need. I mean, there are so many things that we've got to remediate, so, yeah.
Right. Any other comments or thoughts? Nope. Okay. The revised purchasing policy.
That's me.
This is a different agenda. There's nothing else.
Okay.
That's Paula.
Over the last few months, the need has become apparent to update the purchasing policy. It hadn't been updated since 2017. So we've added 2 revisions, and the other revisions, I typed it up from an old PDF, inserted commas where they needed to be. So did some old-fashioned editing of things, the English teacher and me. And the select board, you have a paper copy in front of you. And the 2 things I want to point out that we added in Article 8, they're both in Article 8 under vendor selection. One is D. In the event that the select board decides to accept a bid other than the lowest bid submitted, an explanation of the decision will be provided in either written or spoken form to the vendor or contractor who submitted the lowest bid. A brief explanation will also be provided during the select board meeting, during which the select board decides on which vendor's bid to choose by the town administrator, department head, or select board chair. The other thing is in F, Roman numeral 5. The punctuality of the vendor to the bid meeting held at the site, because F says, in determining the lowest, best qualified, and most responsible vendor, in addition to the price, the following will be considered. So
And all of the other things were there.
all the other things were already there. So I added the punctuality of the vendor to the bid meeting held at the site. If a vendor is late to the bid meeting, their bid will not be considered. This is just something that came up, and it was, Mike's way and my way of kind of upping the professionalism. Things happen, and the way people show up for work or they show up for bids, it does speak to quality of other things sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't. You just get stuck behind things on the road. But it was important enough for contractors and vendors and Mike and myself to say, if we want to set a standard, why don't we set one and put it in the purchasing policy under the vendor selection? So these are the two additions, and I'm asking the select board to approve the revision and adopt it.
Can I have a motion to approve?
And if you have any questions, let me know.
But we need a motion.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve this new purchasing policy.
Thank you, Mike. Any second?
Second.
Second, Brad, thank you. Okay.
Just one other thing, we did raise the...
That's right, the threshold.
The threshold for a
Right.
non-bid, it was 3,000. We actually thought it was 5,000 in a previous meeting, and so we just, with inflation, we just kind of raised that cap.
That's right.
Just a lot of things can happen for us.
That's right, that's in there too. And the revision will be put on the website. Updated.
All right. It's just a kind of a grammar thing, but in D, I think it would be understood better if it reads, a brief explanation why the town administrator, department head, or the select board chair will be provided during the select board meeting.
Sure.
Which the select board decides on which one.
I can move that up.
A brief explanation of why will be?
Yeah, just put the town administrator, department head, and select board chair right after the word explanation.
Sure, that's the easy thing to do. I can make that revision.
The whole, I think the important thing is that we have to emphasize that it's the select board that only has the authority to spend taxpayers' money. In other words, it's nice to give department heads authority. They can make recommendations, but they are not the purchasing person.
Right.
And so it really has to be explained that the select board is the purchasing agent. And I think that we're going to, if that brief I think that brief explanation should be in writing so that anybody can go back to it and see it later.
How do people feel about that suggestion? You're suggesting that it be changed from either written or spoken form to
No, that's-
in written form?
That's in talking to the vendor. When the select board makes their decision and you're accepting a
Oh, I
bid
see.
other than the lowest one, I think it should be in writing why you accepted that bid, as opposed to just discussing it and going ahead. So that if there ever a question comes up, you have documentation on why you did it that way.
I want to point out in Article 3B, it says the town administrator, under the direction of the select board, shall act as purchasing agent for major purchases. So that would be, that seems to be talking about purchases like we're buying a new copier. So if you want the select board to be the purchasing agent for the vendor, there needs to be a distinction made, don't you think? Because it constantly talks about the town administrator being the purchasing agent.
The purchasing agent, but
For the select board. Under the direction of the
Right.
select board.
But Mr. Whitman just said the select board is the purchasing agent. I'm just,
I think.
yes. Just, we would just want to be clear and make sure we get it right.
Items over, what, is it $5,000 that you raised it to?
but it,
This is under major.
Article 3 is major purchases, $10,000 or more.
But then we're talking about regular purchases, 5 to
Right.
9 in Article 4, and then there are incidental purchases.
but the bids are
It's under
are
bid
for
selection.
10,000 or more, and in Article 3, B, is where it said, which is 10,000 or more, major purchases. It says the town administrator, and this is the part that was already there.
That was already there.
Under the direction of the select board shall act as purchasing agent for major purchases. So,
There's a distinction between the decision maker and the purchasing agent, I think.
Or just agents of the board, because all department heads are agents of the board. That's what every deed says that I sign
Yeah.
as a
I mean, I'm
I'm an
thinking of it
agent of
like
the select board.
operationally, I code and sign the invoices that come in every day. But
Right.
with a bid or something, the select board is the decider,
Right.
is the decision maker. So I guess the semantics or that line between purchasing agent and decision maker.
but the purchasing agent does it at the direction of the board.
At the behest of
Yeah.
the board. We are the.
Right. No, I'm not-
Yeah.
Just-
No, I'm just thinking it through.
Mr. Whitman said
Right.
the select board is the purchasing agent. And I was
Right,
like, ding,
right.
ding, ding, because I typed this up old school. And so I was sure to read what was in it and
Right.
have a better understanding of it.
Do you think that part deals with the issue you're raising?
But we do everything at the pleasure of the board.
That's right.
That's right. We're the agent of the board.
Right.
That's,
We serve at the pleasure of the select board.
yes, pleasure of the select board.
The purchasing agents of.
Bill is different from a,
Specifications or.
Okay, how do people feel about adding
it's a working document.
adding the, in D, Article 8, paragraph D, that it'll be put in writing?
We can reword it to be as clear as we need to. It's fine.
How do people feel about that?
So,
I guess we've always done it verbally in the past. There's never been, I'm not sure if does Mike send you an email?
I've only been around for like 2 of them, and it's, it depends on the nature of the thing, because when it comes to a bid for paving a road, it's a little bit easier to compare the vendors, But other things are in here, like,
I think that you
we're
had
looking at the
addressed it.
the
though.
best value for the town, with all things considered.
I think, though, that you've addressed it in D, because you're talking to the vendor, but then there is the written record. And in D, you say a brief explanation will be provided during the select board meeting, which is a public meeting, which has recorded minutes, which is there indeed, a written form of whatever was spoken or written, or however, the select board chair or the administrator or the department head explains to the vendor. So I think that you have a written piece there that is maybe providing
That's reasonable.
something that, is.
That's reasonable.
Yeah, I don't
It
know.
is.
Because they could go back and say it's there.
Especially these
Right.
days, because we have it memorialized.
That was my thought. Everything is recorded.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe it.
All right, so I'm not going to ask for a motion for an amendment.
Not yet.
I'm just going to move us forward. Is that,
Just changing the wording a little bit, like I asked. Is it-
Yep, move that
Yeah.
up, do that.
right?
Sure.
If I could make just a quick motion
Thank
to
you.
approve this as amended by Mr. Whitman, to change that sentence in Article 8, Section D. And Paul will make that change.
Okay. And a second to that?
Second.
Thank you, Tony. All right, are we ready to vote on approving this? Any further discussion? Going once, going twice. Brad is still looking quite serious.
Moving forward.
Okay. So all in favor of adopting this as amended?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Five,
Do you guys want
zero,
to
zero.
sign this, or do you want me to make the amended copy first and then sign it next time?
Yeah, we'll sign it, okay.
Yeah,
For posterity.
you can sign it first. I'm just going to write as amended. Great. Thanks to everybody for their work on this. This was a real collaborative.
Sure.
Particularly Paula, thank you.
I'm happy to revisit it. And,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, it's
Good to revisit these every once in a while.
It's, you know, and there were things like, things didn't make sense in it, like refer to section whatever, and I'm like, there isn't a section whatever, so I had to, oh, there it is, this is this correct section, so there was a little bit of revision.
Because it had been revised so many times, it had been
revised so many
retyped. Yeah.
times, yeah. But if you find any more typos, let me know.
Okay, so shall we move on to number 12, Microsoft 365 pricing?
Jen's going to take that one.
Jen's going to take that one. Thank you, Ms. Howard.
One needs a break. The last meeting, the board approved the Microsoft 365 for everybody in the building and some employees. It came to 11 accounts, and you asked us to come back after we had it, you approved it, we had it installed, and you already approved the pricing. So that was $90.75 a month at $8.25 each, so that you wanted a final quote on the pricing. The email accounts, we brought them down, or RCS brought the cost down to $5 each. So what we wanted to
Great.
talk about tonight was, as part of 365, the email accounts for the boards and committees that we talked about, the secure email. So that is another expense. But it's important because people should not be using Gmail or their private accounts. We really should be secure.
Are you saying they shouldn't be using a separate dedicated Gmail account?
They should not be.
Could you explain a little bit about why?
The reason is, when something is free, you're usually the product. And I say that because you don't own it. Google does. And the town doesn't own that. So when that person leaves and is no longer involved with the town, the next person coming onto the board, say it's a planning commission member, the next person coming onto the board doesn't have that account, can't go into that account, can't see that email. It would be nice if the new person coming on can log into that, see all that email that was sent to that account, and catch up. See what was going on. Read all about the planning commission. Email retention and FOIAs. We really need to keep that email.
You want to spell out what FOIA is?
The Freedom of Information requests. So we need to be able to get into that email if we have to for legal reasons. So we need to start using town secure emails provided through RCS. And these are exchange emails, and they're $5 a box. Now, we understand that some people, like Martha,
I had trouble
and
getting
other
in.
people have several positions in town.
That's true, too.
And they're not going to want to answer a bunch of boxes. So in that case, we will create the box, and we will say, Martha, where would you like that email forwarded to?
Oh, okay.
So if you want it all forwarded to your select board account, we can have it forwarded there. But say your DRB email or
Right.
whatever, your CCCD email, will still go to that box. A copy will stay in that box,
Got it.
and it will still all be forwarded to a select board account. So if she leaves one committee, a new person can come in and go into that box. All we have to do is change the password. And then give that person access to that box. And they can log in and see all the email that was there. These emails are not to be used for personal things, so you won't have to worry about you seeing an email to grandma because somebody else seeing an email to your grandmother, your best friend, because it shouldn't be there.
And what about, in the case of your forwarding the emails out of the box, what about the reply emails? So Martha replies to an email.
Right.
Does she have to log in
No.
to this box in order to
Because
reply?
if email back, it's going to go to the box. And it will be forwarded to her. So every email that goes into the box is going to stay there.
And she will be replying through the box.
Through the box, yes. Emails that go into the box stay there, but the reply, does that make sense? If she sends a reply, what she sends is not going to stay in there.
Well, then how is it,
Right.
how is it preserved?
She can CC the box.
Well, then I guess we would need a policy that people needed to CC the box in order to be providing the full
Continuity.
If they have a
continuity
forwarded box.
and
Not
stuff for
everybody's going to
FOIA.
be affected by that. Not everybody's going to be affected by that. People that have 2 or 3, that are on 2 or 3 different boards would do that.
Interesting. I'm trying to think about.
Like
So
you.
how would you receive that email?
You could use the web portal, or you could set it up in Outlook. It all depends on how you want to do it. Some people don't like Outlook at all. And if you use a Mac, I am not your person to ask.
Yeah, because you cannot, actually. And that's one of the reasons why. So when I originally came onto a board, I think the Planning Commission, I received a Shaftsbury.gov email, and I use exclusively Mac. And I cannot get through to that email.
I use
On a Mac.
exclusively Mac, and I
And
get through
so-
all the time.
Yeah,
We will
and
have
so we
Adam
were,
help
yeah,
you.
so and we went around in circles for a little bit about that.
You just need to download Outlook onto your Mac.
Right, and
There's an Outlook for Mac. I've been using it
Yes.
for, you know,
And I have an Outlook
as
for
long as I've had a
Mac.
computer.
Yeah,
But I think
it's just
it was
it's just an
it
exchange
was-
email account.
Right,
You should be able to set it
I
up.
think the problem was that I have other jobs that had emails, and so
Mm-hmm.
switching between the accounts didn't happen. And it was a very funny thing with,
That is very strange.
yes,
because
because Adam
I
and
have
I went
several
back
email
and so
accounts. Yeah.
it didn't flip for me. That was the thing, so.
we
But we'll
will
figure
we
it
will
out.
make it so it works.
Yes,
I
because
promise.
And Jen
as
will
long
help
as
you.
it works.
Are you an Apple
everything up.
person?
Yeah, I'm an Apple.
Yeah, so it's.
You're an
gonna
Apple too?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
But my question is, how do I receive an email? I've got to go into another account. I mean, right now I receive emails on my phone and in my computer.
We'll help you set it up, Tony.
Okay.
No problem. You just bring your devices right here.
It's really,
It
it's
would
not
be,
very hard.
is there a way
receive them
to
on
have
both.
it just
And I'm not a
though
computer genius at
on
all.
the website so I can just go into a portal that takes me into?
Yes, it's called
with it?
webmail.
Yeah.
All right.
It's
well,
not
that
gonna
would
be on the website, though. It's-
Okay.
it's-
Or like a
Yes,
behind a wall.
web portal. Yes.
Okay. Because I feel like that might be even be easier
Yes.
than
Yes.
having downloaded
Right.
Microsoft.
Yes,
Everybody
Outlook or
can use the
something.
web portal.
Yeah, I think that would be easier.
You can log on.
Yeah. Okay.
you already have a Shaftsbury.gov email.
I do.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything different.
And I have a Mac.
You are an
Yeah,
Apple
I don't know.
That's a
Yeah,
pass right
I have
there.
a.
A plus.
Yep, it's been special.
It's just the continuity is
Yeah,
important.
and that
Security
makes
is
sense.
important. Us having ownership of the boxes for town business
Right.
is important.
And it would be a very simple thing when somebody leaves. You just change the password and hand the new account, the
Yeah.
new password to the new person.
That makes a lot of
And then-
sense.
And then they can
And in
catch up on everything that's happened.
Yes.
And in terms of FOIA, requests.
And email retention is there.
I just
It's
want to
there.
point out that if you do any of it through your personal email, then if anything.
You're exposing
with a
yourself.
Freedom of
Your whole-
Information
Right.
Act request, they have to open up your whole personal email.
Yeah, it's not good.
And that's a nightmare. I mean, just in terms
Yeah.
of time.
Right,
Yeah.
protect your own privacy.
Right,
Protect your
exactly.
privacy.
But so if we set them up for every committee and every board, that is, my calculation is 53 accounts. I had him come down, yeah, here's the list.
Rob's been very good.
Very good. He came down to $5 each, and it's $265 a month. But there's like 3 pages, or 2.5
How many
pages of
committees?
accounts.
So many
There are a lot of
committees.
boards.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of committees. We've got a lot
people
going on.
Doing town business.
Right.
But then also,
Uncompensated, they're doing it.
Right.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
I know.
Out of the goodness of
Thank God.
God. Yeah, I know.
Thank God. I mean, thank you.
and it also increased the size of our regular boxes. Like he's giving us 50 gig Exchange email boxes, and right now, like some of our boxes are only like 5-10 gigs. And he was charging us more than that,
Right,
more than
so-
the $5.
So how's
But
the
with-
firewall on that? Is it good?
Yes. Yeah, it's my Microsoft Exchange email boxes. So they're secure, and he's more than tripling the size of our email boxes. So
Yeah.
for less money, because we're getting so many boxes.
And one
So
of
it's very
these
good.
committees won't be, that's a time-limited committee.
Yeah, so is the CCDC. Some of these are
So some of these
time-limited.
are time-limited, so it wouldn't necessarily be.
Exactly.
Yeah, that they will be, I mean, I'm sure there is a way to archive
Right.
them.
And I
So
have to contact the
that's a-
state and see how long we have to keep them.
Yes.
And after, like, they dissolve,
Yeah.
like, we might be able to just download all the email, zip
And
it
then
up,
just-
and keep
yeah,
it.
keep it in the-
We don't have to
yeah,
keep the boxes
but
forever.
not-
Right.
Like, you know what I'm
Interesting.
saying?
Why should we have to?
Exactly.
Okay.
As long as we keep the emails.
I'm feeling a little lost about where we are in the process of approving this. Can somebody assist me?
So I think we need a motion to approve getting these special boxes.
Boxes.
To add to our
add-
original appropriation for 365,
Correct.
these mailboxes. Okay, can I have such a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Tony. And thank you, Mike. Does anybody think this is an impossible idea and a bad idea and want to object
It's
to
one
it?
more account
I know.
that you have to look at.
It's also $200 and some dollars a month.
Yeah.
What's going to be happening, and not just for us, but for every business out there,
Yeah.
not that we're a business, we're
Yeah.
not, is things like this have to be tightened up a lot more because of cybersecurity. And also, when we went to the VLCT Town Fair last week for the wonderful training and all the sessions, Jen went into a cybersecurity one, and she is going, it's the day after the election?
Day after the
To another
election.
cybersecurity. So, Rob has mentioned getting us tighter with cybersecurity because ransomware and malware and all that fun stuff. So Jen is learning as much as she can and doing as much here because everyone's vulnerable. Everyone's vulnerable. So that costs money to not be vulnerable from a steal your data.
And
You know,
it
we
saves
have
us
to- we have to
legal,
be looking
potential legal
through-
fees.
It's
I think
security.
that's-
It's like a security fee, that $265 a month. And there'll be, the cybersecurity stuff will have a little bit of a price tag with it when it comes, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And we'll jump off that bridge when we come to it. I know you're supposed to cross it, but
All right.
Jumping.
So are we ready to vote on this? Okay. All in favor of adding the
53 email boxes.
53 email boxes to the 365 package that we already approved? Please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passed 500. Great. Okay. Discussion of trailer rental for Cole Hall. And along with this, I think we should be discussing the basement remediation, right? But,
Yeah.
yeah, I think they're
We will
overused.
need
Yeah, but-
the trailer.
Yeah, they're two separate things, but I'm just giving people, a heads up to think about them together.
Right. And so figuring out the trailer, there's a lot going on. So like who's going to be in it, and then like how big do we need? So I have 2 more people to speak with tomorrow, but I think we're between the 10 by 40, which is $590 a month, or 8 by 32, $425 a month. But I'm pretty sure the 2 people that I'm going to ask to go out there have the least amount of stuff to go out there and work the least amount of hours. So we're probably going to go with the 8 by 32, but I don't know. It's going to be $425 or $590. So I could ask for an approval tonight, but I don't know the exact one. It just depends on what they think they need out there. So we could revisit it again, but
Yeah.
I need to get this thing ordered. But I can't get it ordered until we know when the other part's being done. When the
When the basement is being done?
because there's no sense of moving them out there until right before that starts, right?
Depends on how quick they can deliver it, too.
Right. So it's the timing is still unclear.
That and it depends on
However,
health issues.
Yeah,
can I speak?
Right.
Can I speak?
Of course.
We have to get this delivered ASAP, and we have to get the
new
server
phones.
going and the wires
Yeah, you're
because
right.
Gina needs a phone
And you need a phone.
very quickly because of the
Oh, I
reappraisal.
was thinking like weeks away. I was like,
Yeah, oh, okay.
No.
Who is going out to the,
Most likely the
Okay.
treasurer and the zoning administrator.
okay.
Everyone else has too much stuff.
And so we'll be remaining up here in the upstairs building.
And we will be
Marlene
reclaiming
will-
the space.
Did we check the floor for all of Marlene's cabinets and stuff?
She will be coming up here.
Yeah.
But as far as the floor, yeah, we figured out, was it Ed Schul? He was telling us how many pounds per square foot. It will be okay if we disperse everything.
Okay.
and these would,
But some
Be in
of
there.
these
Oh,
file cabinets will be
Yeah.
moved out there, so
okay.
it's just a logistical, I don't want to say challenge, it's not a challenge, it's just figuring it out. It's a
Yeah.
logistical puzzle.
Musical chairs.
But it's not one that, it's one thing at a time. But yeah, we need it, because we need to figure out the wiring and the telephones and
Yeah, right.
get everyone established where they're going to be.
I'm
And
with
reclaim the
Brad, I think
space.
we don't want to wait too long to move Marlene, because
Yeah. You don't want to do it in the middle of winter either.
we don't want to do it in the middle of the winter, and
we don't wanna
it's
do it
bad
before
for
the
her lungs
election.
down there, and for the lungs of some of the people in the public who come, so.
That's fine. I'll order it tomorrow. I just need to
Yeah.
talk to those 2 people once more and decide on which of these.
Yeah.
And how are we doing with accessibility for when folks need to meet with Marlene? Because she's the most public-facing, I think, out of
We're going to use
all.
that door.
They're going to use
the
this
front
door,
door.
and
Talk to
we're
Mike
going to
about
get
building a
folks.
little ramp.
Okay, up these
Also,
Stairs at
like,
the
if
door.
someone comes to that front door, somebody will see them.
Yeah, that's
Get up
true.
and greet,
Yeah.
hi, how can I help you?
My door's
Who are you here
always
to
open,
see?
and I can.
Yeah, you have a
constantly
direct
look
line
in. Yeah. I'll
downstairs.
see them
Got it.
first.
And except
But-
for when the work downstairs is actually being done, we're still going to have access through there, so people can go down, and, Marlene can potentially meet them outside, or,
Yeah, until
because
it gets
the bathroom
cold.
is down there.
Yes.
And there's that foyer down there too, which is
Yeah.
nice. If they can't come up, we'll certainly go down to them.
A foyer.
Yeah, no, I'm like, are there lights in that? I'm like thinking about,
Yes.
as
there are.
the daylight savings ends, it gets dark here before y'all go home.
So are you suggesting that we should approve this expenditure for either price, and then,
Figure out, like, on the high side, it would be $590 a month, on the low side, it would be $425.
okay.
And how long is this? Is this a year contract?
It's a year contract.
Okay,
We'll need
a
at least
minimum of year
We'll need at least a
contract.
year. We're trying to get as
Yes.
small as possible is to pay attention to the bottom line, but to make sure the people, because the people come in to see the treasurer, come in to see the
Right.
zoning administrator, so I would prefer the larger one, so the public could actually fit in there, one or two at a time, to speak with them.
I mean, you can't upsize. Right. It
Right.
would cost
That's right.
a lot of money. Because it costs to bring it here, it costs to take it away. So
Yep,
my inclination would be to go with the bigger one
mine too. Yeah,
What do other people
for the
think?
comfortability of the public and,
That's
and
right.
the employees.
yep,
I'm sure if you get the small one, you'll end up wishing within the half hour that you got the bigger one.
okay.
Well, that seems like a,
That was my thinking as well, just trying to.
okay, so can I have a motion for the renting of the 10-foot by 40-foot trailer?
So moved.
Thank you, Mike. Second. Thank you, Tony. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Passed 500. Great.
Awesome.
Whew.
It's an expensive
No.
evening.
That is not the end. So sorry. Okay, so we are under other business, but we should do some thinking about the basement, and I wanted to tell you that in our last meeting, I said I was going to find us another estimate on the basement, and I have called and recalled 3 different basement specialists in southern and mid Vermont and the surround in our 2 neighboring states, and none of them have called me back.
Yeah, typical.
I did speak with someone I know who is a historical preservation carpenter and mason. He works on that stuff for, what is that museum up there?
Shelburne Museum.
Shelburne Museum. Actually, he's the head of preservation for Shelburne. And he said just what MSK had said, essentially, which is that doing an interior job like we got the estimate for is really Plan B. Plan A is doing all the exterior stuff, but that was cost prohibitive even for Shelburne Museum, and that they had recently done this kind of job on 3 of their old buildings. And that for some reason that I still fail to understand, but we've now had several people say it, that at least dries things out enough so that you can store down there. But I also followed up on Tony's suggestion of a hydrologist, and on Wednesday,
At noon.
Paul Miller, no relation to me, is coming to talk with us, give a consult. He's somebody who's done a lot of hydrological consulting for the state of Vermont. And presumably, he will, I think the way he framed it was he would explain to me how the different systems would work, but that it'll have a lot to do with how much is coming up from below versus coming in from the sides. So that's kind of like the information we need, I guess, to make a full decision. But it's also getting tight in terms of time, right? So I want you all to talk about this. What do you think?
If I could interject just one thing,
As many things as you'd like.
just one thing. Whatever they do inside and, the processes that they do, it's in the service of preserving the building.
Yes.
Like, it'll make it less vulnerable to crumbling. It'll be less vulnerable if we have a flood. It will we're trying to preserve the building. Even if we can only use that for storage in the future, it's preserving the foundation of Cole Hall, even if we can't have offices down there. which remains to be seen. Is my 2 cents?
That was my concern, is that I'm worried about the foundation.
Me too.
And it might be rubble. I mean, it's very thick and it sounds like it's rubble. And water coming in, I agree with Mike, you said in the minutes the last time, was that stop the water from coming in as opposed to dealing with the water as it's already in. I did it in my old house, and I had water all the time in a trench that went along and with a sub pump, but
That's right.
yeah, we couldn't get rid of the water, and it would require, digging out the foundation, which was expensive.
Right.
But if you're going to preserve this building, I think you're going to have to do that. And it also, I think it needs to be graded away from the building. And that will happen if you dig pipes, drainage pipes. And then Art's idea of gutters, I think that's important too. Get the water out.
The question that MSK raised about that and Goldstone
what he said,
was,
'cause we asked about
where do we
gutters.
put the water?
Oh, yeah.
Because there's really no place adjacent that we can dump a regular supply of water without it interfering with something else. I mean, even if we went into that lot, we're hoping to have housing there.
And over the bank is actually
Yeah, the
part
dry well.
wetland, so we
Where we
can't
can't discharge water into the
discharge
wetland.
water
I guess that's
over
why
in
it would be
the,
interesting to see what the hydrologist says, because my understanding of this area is that we're sitting on gravel right now. So
Right.
why is water coming up or in? It seems like it should all be draining away.
Right.
Yeah,
like,
it
better
does
than
seem.
anywhere else in town. Really.
That's right.
So I don't know. I guess that's maybe the next thing to figure out is where is it coming up? Is it coming in the sides? Is it really just the water from the roof that's coming back
How is it
in?
being-
Yeah, if that's it,
If that's
gutters should
a
take
gutter
care of
should
it.
solve that.
And we have a dry well that we found on the,
Yeah, the dry well is out there. We have one.
maybe
So we
it's
need
just
to learn more
not
about that.
set up properly, maybe
Right.
because we're not using gutters and
No.
pushing water towards the dry well.
Well, what we've learned during rainstorms is that even if you have the gutters and the rain is falling in the gutter, the weather comes from the west and the rain's going sideways, right? And it's slamming into the side of Cole Hall below the gutters. So that's what's making, and the north wall too. That's what's making the windows rain.
And that's what's made all the extra holes in those two sides of the building.
That's right. Winds and rain.
We have somebody who has a lot of history with this building sitting here. Maybe we should take advantage of his thoughts on the matter, Mr. Whitman.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting because they used to have kindergarten down there years ago and everything, and I don't ever remember them evacuating it because of water on the floor or anything. So this is something that I think is fairly recent. About getting rid of the water, there is a drain inlet right over here under the, right along where,
That's where we dump the dehumidifier from the safe. So I wonder if that goes to the dry well.
There's a dry
There's
well
a
back
drain
here. Is that
inlet
what you
at the
mean,
dry
or
well?
another drain?
there's also a drain inlet at the corner of the main street and our driveway into here.
Okay.
That plugs up every winter. But that type of thing, so. But that's quite a ways to send water across the parking lot and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It seems these old
I
buildings.
think people, as I understand it, there's more water because of climate change.
Yeah.
I mean, there's,
Possibly, yes.
More water's being.
the conference that three of us went to, the VLCT conference,
Keys.
what's his
The
name?
speaker was Jim Cantori from the
Jim
Weather Desk.
Cantori, the extreme weather
Yeah.
guy, who started his keynote by saying,
Get used to the flooding.
just plan for the rains, plan for the floods,
Yeah.
because
Get used
this
to the
is, we don't really understand the processes, but we're pretty clear. You got to plan for floods. And so,
Yeah. We already are putting extra money in the road because of the it's not thawing, it's not freezing.
Freezing.
Yeah, yeah.
And if Naomi, you're talking to your friend and he says that a lot of the same age buildings are having the same problem,
Yeah.
has, maybe I'm sure over how many,
I should check that.
couple hundred years, buildings maybe sink a little bit. It's, the building materials get coarser or,
Also mold,
Yeah.
you don't necessarily need a huge amount of water to create a mold
To create a mold
Yeah,
problem.
It's a humidity issue, really. So, and we had last summer, and up until probably about 2 months ago, it's been wet and it's been a rainy
We had a
period
rainy
of,
summer.
not that it won't continue to be that way, but so. I guess we'll see what this hydrologist says, but it may not be hundreds of gallons of water. It's just enough water to make things the right environment for mold.
That's correct. Because once that carpet was wet, it doesn't take much to re-wet it, and
I just had a
Yeah.
basement flood this week, so
yeah.
I think once they start doing their thing down there, we'll just pick one thing at a time, adjust the sails, because we don't know what we're going to find. We don't know what we're going to find. Surprise. Could be sea monsters down there, who knows?
All right, so how do we want to move forward at the moment? Just wait on a report from the hydrologist?
You need somebody from the board, you want somebody else?
That would be nice.
Yeah.
He has not given me a time yet, but it's Wednesday afternoon. If there's anybody who can be available to be told tomorrow or Wednesday morning.
this week is bad for me.
I can try to.
Okay.
I'll be there, but I'm not on the board.
You're not on the board, but you're,
But I'll be there.
okay. Then Martha will try.
Yeah.
All right. Before we close out this conversation, I just wanted to say that Adirondack Basement, the person who did give this estimate, got back to me again saying that it would probably be a lot cheaper for us if we hired our own contractors to do the demolition and the electric. And so he gave me a new price without those two things, and it is $13,804.
To do what? Again, to dig out,
To create the
trench
trenches
and then
on the inside, to put in a sump pump, to put
sheeting.
vinyl sheeting, to deliver the water into those trenches, and stop it from being in the room. And that's basically it. Yeah, so just wanted to give you that update. All right, so we'll talk about it more at the next meeting, which I will not be at, but you will. I'll tell Paula she can give whatever I would report. Okay. Yes.
Before we move on from that, if we do decide to go with this gentleman's bid,
look at this,
the
yes.
Adirondack Basement folks, how soon could he do because I'm thinking about October, this is going to be using ARPA funds. They have to be
Yes, he
spent
could do it.
down before December 31st.
That's my concern about
Yes,
wanting this to be moving
They
forward
have
at
to
a
be
fast
under
pace.
contract, right? They just have to be under contract, right?
They just have to be under contract. We would
And
have
we
to
have-
give him,
Right.
we actually have to get back, this price holds until 30 days after the 29th of September, so it holds till October.
And we have 18 and
29th of
change left for the ARPA funds, so that will cover that.
And he said that they are booking, well, a month ago, he said they were booking a month or two out.
Because I am thinking that when I'm thinking about these things, that they're kind of two separate things, and that we may be able to go forward with one while continuing on the hydrologist thing, because this is just kind of, I see it as being an immediate need, that we just need to do something about this water that is coming in, and, you know, we'll soon be in snow season that also is going to be providing a whole bunch of water on ground, maybe, hopefully, if we have snow this year. And that it may be worth us going ahead with this right now while we're all here, because, and in light of you not, I mean, because he has come back with us about, you know, this project without kind of the electrician, which I think we have a little bit more time to kind of work out maybe those details and the,
We would have to contract those people before the end of the year as well.
but, yeah.
I can see doing that because
But-
this could be a Plan B solution, but, you know, this building's been here 200 years and will probably be here for another 200 years, so some future select board can, you know, if this doesn't work or works for a period of time or, you know, isn't sufficient, someone else will have to kind of address that somewhere down the road, I guess, if, you know, something needs to happen outside the building, but if this can get us, you know, moving in the right direction now, maybe, it's not a huge amount of money, so for this kind of work, you know, so, I mean, we have to add the demolition electric to it, but I don't think it'll be like throwing money away, you know, it's, the outside solution is gonna be, you know, tens of thousands of dollars.
Hundreds of thousands of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands.
How much came out from the,
6,000 roughly.
for the demolition and the other part?
Right,
Okay.
and he's, you know, sure we
And-
can get that more cheaply by hiring specialists.
And he said that he could do this part before the electrical and the demolition, or do they
Well, the
have to?
demo
come-
has to come
they
first.
Yeah, that's what I'm,
And
that's
then
the
he
other
does this
thing.
part, and I guess the electrical happens sort of intertwined with him
As
as
they're- okay.
electric work does.
Yeah,
And all it is a pipe that goes outside. He doesn't do any outside work.
That's
Right.
So we
correct.
have to make sure the pipe is strategically placed in order for it to be caught up.
I know.
I'm not liking this plan at all. I really am not.
Thank you.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
concerned about it.
Yeah,
It's digging a trench inside
Yeah.
all the way around the foundation.
yeah.
I'm concerned about the integrity of the building. if
Not
they
all
do
the
that.
way around. Only
Not all the way around?
No, only the
North
north
and
and west walls.
My house had that going
Well-
into a sump pump. There was just a wall in front of it, so I didn't see the trench, but it was there. And then, but I was on city water and sewer, and it would take it right out.
Yeah.
So it collects it and then pumps it out. So we just need to
But
figure
your
out
house
where.
wasn't built in the 1800s.
No.
You don't know what this foundation is really built under.
Right.
I lived in a house that was built in the 1760s and had this kind of thing in it.
I have a house that's from the 1800s that has something
Yeah, I mean, it
similar.
worked.
Shelburne Museum is about the same age.
Yeah.
And they've, your friend said he did 3 buildings like this?
Yeah, because the cost was prohibitive to do it the other way. And I guess, you know, they felt it was preserving it. I'm with Mike and Martha on this.
I feel like we want the better, but we can't get in the way of good because we're in an emergency situation at this moment. And so that's kind of where, I mean, yes, I think that we would love to have more time to be able to kind of, you know, ponder through this and figure it out, but time, both with the money that we have in the ARPA landscape, is not on our side, but also the fact that rain and water is continuing to come in, and
But the
so
water's
it just,
not going away. You're keeping it downstairs.
No, you're
well, it's
pumping
being
it out.
pumped out in a
But
sump
still,
pump somewhere, but
you
yes,
Still have water.
correct, that
And
is
you still have a
moving,
mold problem that I think is still going to exist.
yeah.
So I
I think the idea is the water is not
Stagnant.
permanently there. As Art was saying before, it comes at certain times. It's not always coming in. So you remove it when it comes in, and then you
don't
have a
know that.
period.
But you don't know that until they dig that trench. That trench may fill up, depending on where the water's coming from. It may be coming from the ground, and that trench will fill up and continue to be filled.
That's something the hydrologist could tell us,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
What if we approved accepting his bid contingent on the hydrologist concurring that it was a viable solution?
Can we cancel that?
Can we cancel it?
Yeah, I mean, if we're in the queue somewhere, can we cancel it and change our mind?
Let's see. Actually, I don't see where it
Yeah,
says that you can. I mean, it asks for a substantial deposit
right.
in order to engage the
Right.
contract, right? A 25% deposit. But what if we decided to approve accepting this bid after talking to the hydrologist? So that if the hydrologist says it's not a viable,
We could do a special meeting, just a quick special meeting,
Yeah.
even a Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
oh, there's something right there.
Yeah. Because what's the alternative?
We don't have
We don't have an
an
alternative.
alternative.
There's no alternative.
I
It's a
don't
bad, you know,
I just want to get rid of that water.
I know. Put a big umbrella outside.
Yeah,
But didn't the engineer, didn't MSK say this was a viable option? So the engineer.
As part of
So
a
the engineers said. that
inside
this
and
was a
outside
viable
thing,
option.
but you can do one and not the other.
Yeah.
But doing something is better than doing nothing.
Did we
Yeah, that is what they said.
Yes.
Did we get that paperwork? Did they write it out
No.
for us? It was just completely verbal.
Right.
That.
And they didn't charge us either. So
Oh, got it. Okay. It was a, got it.
They'll
Okay. I
start
was
charging us
wondering.
as soon as we
That's
ask
okay. I
for
remember what they
Okay.
said.
actual
It
price.
was like an advisor. They were very kind to come out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Goldstone came as well.
Goldstone
for
came and
free.
they didn't charge us either.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
It's a leap of
that's a
faith.
great idea.
You know, as most things are.
So we are going to have a special meeting after, potentially after I talk to the hydrologist, Paula and I talk to the hydrologist. Maybe Martha will be there too, on Wednesday, yeah? Do we want to talk about a potential time and day for that?
Please.
It could be Zoom.
Definitely Zoom. Just thinking about the holiday weekend coming up, because after that it will be Indigenous People Weekend, which
Yes, and I'll be gone on
will be-
Tuesday for a week.
Could it be Thursday? I mean, I could do Thursday night. Thursday evening. On Zoom. I'm assuming this would just be a Zoom thing.
Yeah, sure. Can you do Thursday, Tony?
when are we thinking? Thursday evening? I cannot.
Not too Thursday.
Can you do
Friday.
Wednesday or Friday?
I could probably do Friday.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be out of town until Friday.
Okay. Tony, can you do Friday?
yeah, I could do Friday.
A Friday evening Zoom.
I can probably Zoom in Friday. I'll probably just be audio because of where I'll be, but I could be there.
Okay.
We still support video.
We may not have the hydrologist report by then.
Well, we'll
No,
have
he's
what
just
he
going to give us a
says.
verbal.
Oh, okay.
Right. I mean, if he says, well, you know, it's an open question and I would really need to do a study,
Yeah,
then we have to decide, I guess, based on that fact.
right.
Yeah. Okay, what time do we want to do this on? Friday, the 11th of October.
Oh, I can't be there on the 11th. I'll be away. That's the holiday weekend.
Yeah, that's Indigenous Weekend. That's why I was
Right.
thinking
Are
we're,
you talking about the following Friday?
Sounded familiar.
The 18th?
No.
No?
we were talking about the 11th.
Okay.
Would the 15th or 16th work? Is that too?
Paul's on vacation.
Yeah, I'll be out of town.
You'll
I'll be
be
out of
gone.
state.
I'll be gone, and I'm not sure I'll be able to Zoom in. I mean,
But how far?
but I'm the person who will have spoken to the hydrologist.
When do you come back?
So you're going to be gone the 15th through 22nd?
21st, yeah.
Okay, and you're going to be gone, I'm sorry?
I mean, I won't be home until the 22nd. I won't-
You're going to be gone the 10th through the 14th.
But we could do this without Paul. We could have, I'm sorry, but
Yeah, I mean, hey, don't worry about me.
I mean, I guess it could be Wednesday night, right? I mean, if you met with a hydrologist that day and everything's
Yeah, I could do,
Wednesday.
yeah, I mean, Brad won't be able to be there.
We just need 3 of us.
We need a quorum, right?
okay,
Is that okay with you?
to do Wednesday
I'm
evening?
sure I'll be.
We'll catch you up, yes.
So,
Oh, I could consult with you on Wednesday afternoon before the meeting,
that sounds good.
and, you know,
Yep.
okay.
So we're going to do Wednesday the 9th, Zoom. What time? We're doing
Late
this,
afternoon.
When do you finish working?
Yeah, 4 o'clock would be fine for me.
4 o'clock?
I can be there at 4.
you
Okay.
can do that, 4 PM Zoom.
Okay,
If I'm
Zoom.
invited,
You are,
which you don't need me.
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Good.
All right.
Thank you, everybody. Is there any other business before we enter executive session to discuss personnel issues? Okay, can I have a motion to enter executive session? Second?
Recording
Mike?
stopped.
Thank you, Marie.
We're not going to have, are we gonna have
We're not going to, Paul, are we going to be coming out and voting on anything?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. No.
So then we